4-1 win today. Happy with what you saw?
Happy with the results. I think first half we started very well. I think the fact that we scored an early goal was very, very positive, and the morale of the team confidence boost, because we've had a mixture of results lately. It's not been going our way, but I think the fact that we got an early goal was a boost for the team in terms of morale and confidence, and from then on we went on. Now, my only concern was the way we presented ourselves in the second half. If you think about it, we scored 3 goals. That should be the end of the game. It should be dead. If that was City, they'd be looking at scoring 5, 6, 7-1, whatever. You know how it is. I'm looking at Lukaku at the end of the game. He's no longer making runs forward. He doesn't want the ball. It makes you question, are we just satisfied with just 3 goals? They scored 3-1. We were lucky they had a man sent off, because we don't know how that game would have went had they persisted with 11 men. We don't know what could have happened, and you know how fragile our defence is nowadays. So
I think, because you look at it, it goes back to that thing, we don't play good for 90 minutes. I know overall we played well, and obviously we got the 4 goals. But do you think that maybe we should have carried that on into the second half? Was you surprised or disappointed with that?
I think it should have carried it on to the second half. Take into account that now you've got 10 men, then take off a defender, put 3 in the back, load up the midfield, put Rashford up front on his top, give Lukaku a rest for next week, and from there you can carry on. You can put in Pogba and Fred. Why not see both of them? Why not take off Maddis and give him a rest?
Well, Pogba didn't get off the bench today. Was you guys surprised to see that? I know he's been dropped recently, but this is a game against bottom of the league and he didn't get any minutes. Is that a surprise, or do you think Jose's saving him?
But from a psychological perspective, Mourinho has this idea where he has a knack. When he has a player and he targets him, like with example Luke Shaw or even Delo at the start, he'll say 3, 4, 5, 6 games, he'll just bench them, not play them, ghost them basically. Because in the training sessions, he wants them to turn it up, show another level, prove that they want to be back in the team, get that fire back in their belly. I think it's wrong. You should be good at putting your arm around the player, give them that morality, that support to help them, improve. But this is Jose, this is what we signed up for.
And what do you think? I mean, with the Pogba situation, was you surprised to see McTominay get on ahead of him? I know it was only 6 or 7 minutes, but he didn't even get on the pitch against bottom of the league side. Or
surprised? No, because it's Jose Mourinho. I mean, he does this type of stuff all the time. But undeniably, Paul Pogba is the best player that Man United currently have. Undeniably, you cannot argue at all. He did it at Juventus. France, he was central in their World Cup victory. I mean, Paul Pogba is the most creative player. He's the main player that is not scared of passing the ball sideways or backwards. He's not scared to shoot. Yes, he can be a bit more greedy, he can show ball a bit of times. I think that needs individual man management. I don't think it's something that you drop a player for and then fall out with him a couple of riffs. It's been the story of the season.
It's like a merry-go-round, right?
Exactly. Paul Pogba does something, Mourinho responds. Paul Pogba does something, Mourinho responds.
Can it be resolved, or is it as simple as one or the other needs to go?
It can be resolved, but you've got to remember that there's cliques within the team. Rashford, Lingard, they're all Pogba's friends. I mean, if this ends badly for Pogba and he's kicked out of the team or whatever, what kind of morale can that have to players who have come from the youth, who are the products of the establishment of the youth system? Do you know what I mean? If Paul Pogba falls out with Mourinho, Lingard and Rashford,
you think you have a knock-on effect between the squads?
It could have a knock-on effect. Now, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking some of the French players that we have are hoping that at the end of the season, by Mourinho, in comes it down, and then maybe you can start to play some football. I mean, Martial's still not signed his contract, so now, what's he waiting for? Even De Gea's not signed his contract. I've heard they've offered him 350 grand a week. I mean...
And he still hasn't signed it.
And he still hasn't signed his contract. I mean, what... The players, they can't speak because they've got to be professional, but what kind of message does that send to the fans when our best player for the past 7-8 years, who is David De Gea, still hasn't signed £350,000 a week? Are they hoping for a new manager to come in and establish it, or is De Gea looking back in the past thinking, I should have signed for Madrid when I had the chance, that damn photocopy machine or whatever?
Ed Woodward pulled the plug on that, mate, trust me. What did you make of George Mendes' comments in terms of saying that his client, Jose Mourinho, is happy at Manchester United, and more importantly, the club are happy with him? Is that a sign that the club are happy with mediocre football and what we're doing and the progress under him, or do you think that was kind of like, you know what, you have to give me all this money to sack me, or leave me alone? Where do you stand with those comments from George Mendes?
I think it's an official statement. What do you expect from an official statement? Would you expect his agent to turn around and say, look, Mourinho's doing crap, we're not happy with the situation? I mean, obviously he's going to give an official statement and say this is how things are, the club's happy, Mourinho's happy, Mourinho wants to persist and develop the team. I mean, there probably is some truth behind it. I mean, the guy before me stated the fact that Pep and Klopp have been successful. I mean, I think, yes, Mourinho does have a bit of an ego, but let's look at Mourinho's track record. Every club that he's been to, he's had something to take away. Europa League doesn't really count for Mourinho, does it? A guy who's won the Premier League back-to-back, won the Champions League with 2 different clubs. Europa League doesn't I mean, his track record is on the line here. People are saying he's a has-been, he's done. I think whether he is or not, that's a different story.
Well, to answer that, do you think that he still has it? Do you think that he still has it?
I mean,
and he can turn it around.
It's difficult. He can turn it around, yes. But in this current day and age, are we willing to be patient enough for Mourinho to rebuild this team from scratch? These aren't the players that Mourinho wins the Premier League title with. Compare this to his Chelsea squad. Compare this to his Inter Milan team. Compare it even to his Real Madrid team. He didn't win the Champions League with Real Madrid, but compare these players and their attitudes, their mentalities, their work rate. Mate, 3 players, Herrera, Lingard, Rashford, run their socks off. What does the rest of that team do? Tell me honestly. Or 3 front players, they press. One of our midfielders presses after him. The rest of the team sit back. Either the whole team presses or the whole team sits back. You cannot separate the attack from the defense. It just doesn't.
So where does that come from then? Does that come from the manager and the training ground, or does it come from the players saying just disrespecting Mourinho then and not listening to what he's saying? Where does it come from?
I think I don't think it's disrespecting Mourinho. I don't think they're all professional players, but when you love what you do and you love who you do it for, then you do it properly. I mean, look, we spoke about Pogba not too long ago. Look at Pogba, for example. Pogba's played a lot of games this season. What's his work rate like? What's Pogba's work rate like at France? I think the instructions are there. I think some of the players are simply just not good enough, and some of the players don't have the desire or the passion. Some of them are probably sitting there going, did I come to the right club? Sanchez could have gone to City. Fred could have gone to City. Do you think they're looking in the rear view thinking, possibly, if I had signed for City, I'd be looking at another Premier League title right now. I'd be looking at competing for the Champions League.
With all that said, to finish off,
Yeah.
Mourinho in or out then?
Till the end of the season, he deserves it. You can't deny it. Listen, I'll tell you why. Let me make my point.
All right, go on.
Listen, let me make my point. Don't disagree. Let me make my point. Jose Mourinho gets sacked. Let's say he gets sacked today, yeah? Tell me right now, with this squad that's been nurtured by Mourinho for the past 3 years, which manager can take over and turn this around?
Has he got a point? I was going to wait for you guys, man. Okay, no, we're calling it.
Let me tell you this. Which manager wants to pick this team up in the middle of the season when they're 8th? Any manager that picks this up, any manager that picks this up right now is risking their reputation. This is a recipe for failure. If you think, listen, if you think we're bad right now, how much worse do you think things will get if we change managers halfway? A different manager who wants.
Okay, at the end of the season, at the end of the season, then, what would you do?
It's so simple. If we make it Champions League, then potentially let him persist. But the way, listen.
So if we get Champions League from this position that we are in now, you think give him a job?
He finished second last season and he wasn't backed in the transfer market. Yes, he's made like 7 signings and he doesn't play any of them. I agree with that. But had we signed, he made it clear that we needed a centre back. Right now, the only thing we're talking about is how shit our defence is. Come on, guys.
Thanks for talking to us, bro. Wicked.